Are you ready for some real thought-provoking conversations that lead to spiritual wisdom and discovery to provide you with clear direction on every area of your life? Well, sit back and relax. You've made it to the right place. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Heart of Inspiration. Hey, hello, everyone. Listen, I'm so sorry. I was late, more late, and continue to be late. I was trying to be great. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day on this full moon. Let me see if I can do this. No, we're here. All right. I hope everyone's full moon has been good. Full moon in Virgo. I did a brief bit about it yesterday. I did a community post about it the day before. This is the time for non-negotiables. Okay, non-negotiables. We are setting ourselves up for how we're going to be living potentially for the next 20 years. And the reason why I say that is everything goes in cycles, right? And the cycle we've been in for the last 20 years has been this Pluto in Capricorn. And guys, this isn't going to be a whole astrological, but I'm just going to bring you a concept of what the energy is like. Pluto in Capricorn asks us internally to change, update, transform. Everybody say hello, Gemini. Change, update, and transform our inner foundations. How we not only just our inner foundation, but how we then relate to the world's foundation. And as actually the world is changing as well. And we've known this, we've seen this more rapidly in the last few years. Government shakeups, government changing, people recognizing, how certain laws affect them, or just how some of the other socioeconomic structures affect them as well, belief systems and all of that. And there's become a much greater awareness of things like mental health, of things like shadow work, of inner child work, like working on yourself. So we've had these 20 years for that purpose. And now that is about to, and Pluto's about to enter into Aquarius. And that's all about big picture, like everyone, right? So that's all about the collective, how we can serve the collective and how we can be of service, true to ourselves, knowing ourselves, and then being able to help to balance the world at large. Okay? Because of all of that, I wanted to come tonight and talk about inner child healing. This is going to be a series, I believe, that I'm going to be doing. Um, Hopefully, we'll do them. What is today? Tuesdays? Maybe we'll do them on Tuesdays. Um, Sorry, guys. But we're going to be doing this series, and I'm going to take you through not only my inner child healing processes, but also, I don't know how many times she's going to do this. Can you please get down and stay down? Otherwise, I'm going to lock you out. But I want to talk to you about yours as well. And tonight we're going to start with guilt and shame, and I'll tell you why. So I'm going to welcome the people. Hello, everyone that's here. Hey, Desiree, how are you, beloved? Hey, Sebastian, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. Members, by the way, we will be doing cocktails and cards this Saturday. I don't know how many times we're going to play this game. Cocktails and cards will be this Saturday night again. So members, you guys are going to go to the front of the line. Hey, Linda, how are you? Jessica, hi. Oh, it's past your bedtime. Okay, listen to this in the morning, dear. No problem. Hey, Levon, how are you, babe? Good to see you. Melinda, my wonderful mod. Hello. Wars. Yeah, we're not going to be talking too more about. We're gonna be dealing with us tonight. I'm not dealing with world stuff tonight. I want to deal with us. Okay. Happy full moon to you, Fatima. Yes, and Saturn and did it move on in there today? I thought it wasn't moving in there until later on this month. Let me pull the chart up. Peace, Chanel. How are you, beloved? All right, we're all caught up. And as Melinda on YouTube is letting y'all know, this is Heart of Inspiration, my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Lisa Brewer. Please do like, subscribe, and share this video so that you will know when I go live. It hasn't always been, I don't know what to tell you. It hasn't always, but we're going to get better at being very much on time and consistent. Yeah, Gemini is just here, so she's been like that all day. All right, let's talk. So I got something I want to show y'all. I got something I want to share with you all as we go through the first part of guilt and shame. Okay. Oh, Linda. Okay. Oh, wow, Linda. Linda says she's divorcing. Okay. I understand, Linda. Divorce can be difficult. If you guys saw any of my posts or saw the video from yesterday, I said that this full moon is a moon of non-negotiables. This full moon is the last full moon before the start of the new energetic year. Why is that important? Just like when at the end of December, right, at December 31st, or when in December period, we begin to look back at the calendar year, right? The calendar year does not line up with you energetically. So if you've ever wondered why it's somewhat hard, I'm literally going to have to put her out. Why it's hard to start a New Year's resolution and hold on to it, it's because you're trying to start a New Year's resolution during winter time. Okay, guys, 1 second. Sorry, love. I asked you nicely. Now you're going to have to stay on here with your sister. All right, and we're back. We are back. All right. Let me do this. So if you saw it, if you heard about it, this is all about non-negotiables. What are you no longer going to be dealing with going into the next 20 years? What do you no longer want to deal with? I think we were going to put up a YouTube short. It's on TikTok, I know for sure, and Instagram. I just put something up today. What do you no longer want to be dealing with? How do you no longer want to be living? And I know typically when we talk about growing and manifestation and all these things, we typically say, as healers, teachers, oracles, coaches, mentors, we typically say, hey, don't be doing the negativity, don't say I don't want to be something, or I don't want to have this. Instead, say what you want. But in order to determine what you want, you got to determine what you don't want. And you got to figure out why you don't want it. Now, shout out to Ms. Talia Dashow. She is one of the Practical Lightworker alumni, and she is a creativity coach. And she teaches a lot about procrastination. She talks a lot about that and why you procrastinate. And today during class this morning, on this Tuesday morning, today is Tuesday the 7th, by the way. Thanks, Linda. I know Kitty's cute, but I couldn't be talking with her wandering around. Let me scooch over a little bit. We were talking about things that I don't particularly like to do as a business owner. As an entrepreneur, there are some things I don't like to do. One of which is filing. Another of which is the bookkeeping. Organizing stuff. Like, it just gets to be a lot. Especially the filing. And so she asked me, she said, I'm sure you thought about this, but she asked me, she said, why? Why don't you like to file? And for the first time ever, all of a sudden, what popped out of my mouth was this. Now, I put these pictures up because I want y'all to get an understanding and understanding of that picture here. I'm going to put this picture up here. That picture way at the top in the center, that's 5-year-old Lisa. I've posted that picture before. That's 5-year-old Lisa. She's 5. 5-year-old Lisa in that big orange chair. Now, that was my daddy's favorite chair. I'm getting somewhere. That's my daddy's favorite chair. Okay. I believe that picture, if I remember correctly, was taken at 232 East Burleigh Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And when I was 5. 5-year-old Lisa was going to what they would now call a charter school, Franklin Pierce Elementary School. I went there for kindergarten and first grade. At that school, they let you, no matter what grade you were in, you just got to keep learning. So by the time I left first grade, when I was 6, turning 7, or was I 7? I was already, 6 turning 7. I was already reading on a 4th or 5th grade level, doing math at that level as well. Like, they just let me go. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. I only had 2 younger brothers at the time. One year younger than me, 13 months. The next, another 13 months younger than him. So my mom had a set of Irish triplets. Is that what they call them? Stair steps. We're stair steps. We're not within the 10 months. What most people didn't know at that time, my dad was still a drinker. You go to the tavern, play pool, shoot pool all the time. What most people didn't know at 5-year-old Lisa was living in hell. Now, Dad provided for us, but my father was a very violent man and very abusive. I'm not telling you this because I want your pity. I'm telling you this because I want you to hear me. And I want you to know. Some of you all have heard my story before, but I might go into some details. And I'm going to tie this back to why I don't like filing. It's all going to make sense soon. So 5-year-old Lisa was hiding. She couldn't tell her teachers at school how violent Dad was being at home to her mom and to the oldest of the boys. She couldn't tell the teachers at school that the house was just ruled by fear, and she just wasn't sure what was going to happen whenever Dad came home. She couldn't tell the teachers at school that at 5, she had already learned how to play peacemaker in the house, how to distract Dad so that he would not be violent, would not get angry. She couldn't tell the teachers at school how sometimes she would cry herself to sleep because she's listening to Mom and Dad arguing in the other room, or Dad screaming at the oldest of the boys, or she couldn't. She couldn't. That she would cry because her mom was crying at the kitchen table. She couldn't tell anybody that. As that little girl grew up and grew into young adulthood or teenagehood, right? Well, things got somewhat better, but not better. And she couldn't tell anybody what was going on at home because why we didn't talk about what went on inside the house, outside the house. You didn't do that. Whatever hell you were living in, you lived there. She couldn't tell anybody that she would feel guilty because she may have missed something or didn't put something away correctly or whatever. And instead of me getting yelled at or her getting yelled at, Mom would get it because she wasn't teaching me. Instinctually, she knew that she was the favorite. Instinctually, subconsciously, she knew she had been put above her own mother. So she couldn't tell anybody in her young adult years that she had a very difficult time. That's my mom and I down in the lower, I think it's going to be your lower left-hand corner. She couldn't tell anybody that she had a hard time respecting her mother because all of her young life, she'd been put in the awkward position of really being the matriarch, even though she was a child. And it was very apparent that she was the only one that could handle Dad. She couldn't tell anybody that. By the time you see this picture where I'm in this red dress, much thinner, still wasn't wearing makeup because Dad always told me I shouldn't, and that would make me look like a harlot. Old word. But I'm in my 20s at that point. I feel like this probably mid-20s. Yeah, mid to late 20s. By that point, I'd already had 3 kids. My first child I was 20 years old. I was in my junior year, about to go to my senior year of college at Northwestern University, majoring in biochemistry, and I got pregnant over the summer. Found out I was pregnant in September, right before school started, but then also found out that because of certain budget cuts and situations of the government, I was also not going to be able to afford to go to school that year. So as some would say, that was rather opportunist, you know. I mean, I suppose if I had the money, I probably still could have gone to college, but at that point in 1989, it was still kind of a, oh no, as an undergrad, you don't go to college pregnant and unwed. I was attending Baptist church by that point, and in the good old Baptist way, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother I was living with at the time, wanted me to go in front of the entire church and say how sorry I was and confess my sin for becoming pregnant. My father lost his ish, was like, "You're not gonna have my daughter doing that." However, what was happening by the time that that 25-year-old girl right then and there, she had managed to rise through the ranks and in corporate America. And by that point, I was learning how to be a marketing like manager, I guess you could say, do sales and marketing presentations for major architectural firms in Chicago. But when I got pregnant at 20, there was the guilt and shame of being an unwed mother, I ruined my whole life. And I went to work through temp agencies. Remember, I'm pregnant. Yeah, I had her in April, so I'm starting to show. And so I had to go to work through temp agencies. I hadn't done anything except for work in fast food or work study. So I didn't have any real skills at 20. So I had to do, right, like the file clerking, the data entry, all those things that people do when they're just learning office skills back in the late 80s, early 90s. And everyone that I worked with, until right about this age, everyone that I worked with, the bosses, everybody, supervisors, whatever, coworkers, as I, got regular jobs or like full-time permanent jobs and whatnot, they'd always look at me and you could see this look and you could hear this tone of their voice. And you could hear the pity. For some, you could hear the shame, like, oh my God. You could hear the undertone of she threw her life away, she got pregnant, and right. Guilt and shame. I did not realize I carried that all the way through till I'm now 54 years old. I'll be 55 this year. I didn't realize till today I carried that through. You know, the other thing I carried through with me, 5-year-old Lisa up at the top learned really quick that there was a set of rules and you need to stay in between those lines. You need to stay in that lane so dad doesn't blow up. Try as you might. You need to change anything that you're doing at the drop of a hat. You need to have an explanation for anything. You need to be able to defend yourself in your position. You need to be able to do this to plead your case or your mama's case or your brother's case so dad didn't blow up. Learn that real quick. Boom. Dad was very strict as well. I wasn't allowed to go to my junior prom because I went to an all-white high school, and we know what those white boys want with a little black girl. They couldn't have possibly wanted to take me to prom They couldn't have possibly wanted to date me just because of who I am, or that they found me attractive. They could only want one thing. I was not allowed to go to my junior prom. I wasn't allowed to date. Nah, I snuck the hell out. But I was not allowed. Everything was very strict. So what happened when I went to college? I went buck wild. Lost it. Okay, buck. When I say buck wild, decided I'm pregnant at 20. Buck wild. Shocked I didn't end up pregnant my freshman year. Now I'm having, this is after dark, sexual relations. My mama's a dead Christian, like hardcore Christian. My grandma, all them, we come from a line of hardcore Christians, right? Guilt and shame. Guilt and shame for running around drinking. Guilt and shame for running around fornicating. Guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame. Guilt and shame for running around cussing. Guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame. I was not living a Christian girl's life, but I was stepping up in that choir saying, "Here Sunday." Guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame until I got caught because I got pregnant. Now, remember, I'm supposed to be staying in a lane. So my lane was supposed to be I graduate from Northwestern. At that point, back in the late 80s, early 90s, biochemistry was still considered new. So I could have gone on and 2 years later gotten my PhD. Now there's master's programs. I'm telling you all this because you all need to know it. But back then, basically, I could have gone 6 years to college, to school, higher education, and had my PhD doctorate. And I was supposed to go into research. That was the lane I was supposed to run in. That was my lane. And I have been making excuses ever since as to why I didn't stay in that lane. Not only that, when I was working with my business partner today, Josiah, and we're talking about plans and setting things up and restructuring, and he's like, you need to really focus on Lightworker Academy for an entire year as you restructure it so more people can come in, and people can come in at different levels and make it the most amazing thing, because only you can make it what it is and what it's meant to be, because that's your baby, right? That's your thing. Only you are going to make this mystery school that what it can be. I need you to focus in on this for a year. I'm encouraging you to do that because this is going to be amazing. My first was like, no, you're not fixing to box me in. Now, we'll probably talk a little bit about that situation next time we talk about this. And then I broke down because he wasn't trying to box me in. He very gently explained what he meant. And then I said, but I feel guilty for sometimes wanting to run so fast and so far. I feel guilty for leaving people behind, right? I've said that to him other times. This responsibility that we have to be the best at everything. The responsibility we feel being melanated people, women, whatever. I think that people put responsibility on us no matter what our race, creed, color, gender, sexuality, whatever. If you have risen to a level and if risen to a success level, no matter what, there is a measure of guilt that people put on you and a level of responsibility to bring everybody else along. That all stemmed from Lisa being the peacemaker. That all stemmed from me being the peacemaker. That all stemmed from me feel at 5 in the upper one, the upper, feeling that I was responsible for everybody. Because I was. But I wasn't. But I was. So why am I going through all of this? Because you see me in the lower right-hand corner, right? Happy. I'm the woman I am today. If you looked at all 3 of those photos, you probably wouldn't know that 2 of them are filled with pain and anguish. Because we hide. Because we stuff it down. You wouldn't know that there was pain and anguish of the young woman in the red there because she had escaped the hell that was the house. Crossed state lines, wasn't even living in nowhere in Wisconsin, child. I was up for a wedding. I think it was one of my brother's wedding that day. I had escaped. I felt guilty because I escaped. I felt guilty because I created a life. I felt guilty because I survived. I felt guilty. And then I had the good Christian shame to go along with it because, I'm down there drinking, carrying on, acting a plum lily fool down there, child, in Chicago. I was living the best. I was living a good life. But you wouldn't necessarily know that. From that picture, you wouldn't know that she felt guilt and shame. That she carried around the guilt and shame of growing up in a household where fear reigned and you were unable to tell anybody anything and you put it all on yourself. The guilt and shame of I was still an unwed mother at that point. I think I had got divorced. The guilt and shame being a single mama of 3. Maybe it was only 2 then. The guilt and shame of not graduating from Northwestern. The guilt and shame of not utilizing your level of intelligence, of missed opportunities, of unrealized potential. Is this making any sense to anybody? So when I talk about healing the inner child today, as we're talking about this today, let me see if I can get this. My bad. Sorry, guys. Hang on one second. Sorry. As I'm talking about this today, the first level of guilt and shame, if this applies to you, that I want you to think about releasing during this time period. Like, I don't care if you don't believe in astrology or you don't believe in nothing else. I don't give a rat's ass. Okay, I don't. I want you to believe in this. Even in the Bible, it talks about times and seasons. There's a season for this. There's a season for that. There's a season for this. There's a season for that, right? So I want you to hear me when I say this. And that's in Ecclesiastes. That's in the Old Testament. So pretty much if you are a member of any of the Abrahamic religions, I'm sure that there's something like that. You can find it. This is a time and a season for you to release that which is no longer serving you. This is a time and a season for you to heal your inner child. Some of you got mama wounds you need to heal. Some of you got daddy wounds you need to heal. Some of you got brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle, just general family wounds that need to be healed. Some of y'all, like me, were put in positions you never should have been put in as a child, and you carry around the guilt and the shame of that, and it's showing up in different areas of your life right now. So I think part one of us healing this inner child. Oh, and don't let me forget the responsibility, y'all. The responsibility, guilt, and shame. How many of y'all didn't realize your parents or whomever, their level of success? How many of y'all didn't realize that? How many of y'all are one of them in the family? You know, one of them. Oh, they never really made it. They had all the potential in the world, but you know, they messed around there and got caught up. You know how love is. You know, they got caught up. They got caught up with the wrong people. They got caught up this, caught up that. How many of y'all is that? Or how many of y'all have risen to a position in your life, and because of the socioeconomic division of people that you belong to, or that people try to put you in? Because I don't belong. Listen, I'm going to be Idris Alba. I ain't fixing to, listen, I'm a healer. I'm not first of all, I ain't black. I'm not a black healer. I'm not a female healer. I'm a healer. I'm a teacher. I'm a mentor. I'm an oracle. I'm a business mentor. I'm an entrepreneur. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Stop letting people put you in boxes. Now, but how many of you all have been put in a lane, and because you rose to a position or achieved something, a level of achievement, now all of a sudden everybody else in that group's success somehow rests on your shoulders? I know I ain't the only one. Parentified child. I like that. There you go. Jess, Melinda, Sebastian says he felt like he knew too much for his age. And now you feel as if my mind is too filled at 21. That's the same thing. Let me tell you, how many of y'all are old souls out there in the replay game? Let me know if you're an old soul. Anybody ever told you you're wise beyond your years? You're an old soul, all of that. That's all great, fine, and dandy. But don't you put their stuff on your back. Stop carrying everybody else's stuff. Their burdens, their dreams, their aspirations. Stop carrying it. It ain't for us. Sebastian said he was making too many decisions at 14 due to parents' English being limited. Well, that's a little bit different of a situation, but you were the one filling out mortgage forms and taking home ownership. Wow. You had a lot going on. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Because what happens is we walk around with this guilt and shame and this level of responsibility, and then because of that, we can't function in certain areas in our lives. So part one of guilt and shame, I want you to start looking at the guilt and the shame of not achieving whatever it is that you were supposed to achieve in your life. Whatever it is that you were supposed to do or not supposed to do. If you're like me and you were not supposed to get pregnant out of wedlock, and definitely not at no 20 years old, drop out of college, right? You're supposed to be a doctor, lawyer, a physicist, an engineer. Ooh, I got one for y'all. You're supposed to marry within your race so that you can continue your race. And you better not look outside of it. For my women in the room and on the replay, you're supposed to submit to everything and everything. You're supposed to be a good submissive, beautiful size 5. Don't see, stop, Lisa. You feel like you got the weight of your race, your creed, your color, your sexual orientation, and all of the above on your shoulders because maybe you've achieved something or did not achieve something, so somehow you're less than. See, we could carry both of those things along inside of us simultaneously. I know it because I've been carrying it around, but I ain't carrying it no more. I'm done. Y'all can have it. I'm done. I'm not carrying around with me the responsibility of others' success. I will carry with me my responsibility to be a light, a teacher, a mentor, a healer, a speaker, a content creator, an inspirer to help others achieve. But I will not carry on my back any longer the success or failure of every melanated woman out here. I don't know what some of y'all got to release. I'm going to drop the link in a minute because I feel like this is a release party. So, the first part of the guilt and shame, I want you to release the guilt and shame as an adult of whatever it is you did not achieve or of achieving. All those missed, I didn't live up to this expectation and that expectation. And I want you to be real with yourself because some of us are going to say, I released that, but I want you to look at certain things that you're doing in your life. It could be something as simple as I don't like doing filing, that you recognize all of this as it begins to unfold. You could, child, let me just, and I ain't going to ask y'all. Y'all ain't got to tell me. You can keep this to yourself. Maybe you don't like taking them clothes out the dryer and folding them up and putting them away right away in the drawer or hanging them up right away because, when you were a child, it had to be done immediately the clothes line, the minute it was dry, you had to fold them up, iron them up, whatever. Now I'm dating myself because I know some of y'all don't know what an iron look like or don't know how to turn one on. But do you see what I'm saying? So some of y'all, there's some rebellion there. But what else? What other reason why would there be rebellion to that? Go deeper. Now, I ain't saying you're nasty. I'm just saying some people don't like. What does that represent to you? You would be surprised the things that you do right now that are rooted and grounded in some inner child injury or trauma that needs to be released. So I want you to begin to examine yourself and think about that, okay? I did not mean to talk for 43 minutes. Child, y'all had me out here. I had myself. I want you to start there and start releasing that guilt and that shame. That might look like crying. That might look like yelling. That might look like, I don't know, trying not to punch no hole in the wall. You might got to go to the gym in the morning, toss a few weights around. Tonight, I don't know. But I want you to release it because it's a non-negotiable for you to carry the weight of the past trauma and carry the weight of the responsibilities and the structures that were put on you and programmed within you, the paradigms you have been caught up in all this time. It is a non-negotiable over the next 2 weeks for you to carry it into the next Plutonian Aquarian age. Because what we got time for the next 20 years is to see rapid, beautiful metamorphosis for each and every one of you as you raise your consciousness, as we grow further into a Christ or love consciousness as a unified collective, free from the barriers and boundaries that people have placed within us and upon us, free from the division that has been placed upon us, those structures need to go away and the new ones coming in. Hello, friend. Now let me drop this here link. I'm trying to be like my friend and stick to an hour. That probably is not going to happen because I'm at 45 minutes now. I'm going to drop the link, and you all are willing to come. You all are welcome to come up. If you all want to come up, and we can briefly kind of go through a little bit of the guilt and the shame, or we could briefly go through things, or we could just talk. Okay. I'll be probably chopping this a little bit, but this is what I want you all to release. Okay. Release the guilt and the shame of all of those expectations that are put upon you, that were put upon you. Release it. Shauna Michelle says, yes, I feel it more now as I get older, facing triggers from childhood trauma almost every day. Blessed, I understand. And while we're getting that together, hang on one second here. I actually want to announce something. This is a soft announcement. This is a soft announcement. Okay? Copy. I am finally starting my initiate mastermind. Now I'm going to show you, and I'm going to put enter. I'm going to put in the chat. Oops, not there. Let me find the chat. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm going to put in the chat. Actually, I'm going to make it a banner. I don't even have this down there at the bottom yet. Join. That's right. Is that right? Oh, create from my heart. My bad. Hold on, guys. My bad. All right. I have started a new community, and it's called the Initiate Mastermind. What this is for, let me present this to you. If you go to createfrommyheart.com, you're going to be able to see this as well. But what I want to show you real quick while we're waiting for people to come up and click the link. If you're ready to be part of an immersive experience where you'll have access to a 90-minute deep dive instruction with me once a month, you'll have monthly access once a month to our Thursday evening, one of our Thursday evening practice and healing sessions that is with our coaches, our LWA Lightworker Academy members, where we all come together as healers, teachers, mentors, and we just have community. We help one another. You could practice your Reiki, you could practice your tarot, you can practice astrology, you could practice what you're right. But meet, like-minded people. We're gonna have two more group masterminds every month other than that with members so that we can all create our visions together. We're beginning a private Facebook group. I'm going to be giving you metaphysics and business building assets to help you through your journey, guidance and support, and more resources to discover and grow on your path, change your mindset, manifest faster, and so much more. This is a mastermind. There's a lot of masterminds, guys, out here that are like kind of like they're 25,000 a year, to be honest with you, to start with. And that's for people that are like, making high low six, multiple six figures that want to grow to seven. I wanted to create something where we could create a community where people that are starting out, that people that are maybe just starting to really grow, but you really want to be in a community with people and still be able to get some of the teaching and the resources that we do have for people that come through our programs. It is just $97 a month or $997 a year. It is a 12-month program, but this is designed to help you get your business started, and actually help you just grow. So if you're new on the ascension process, I should probably make this bigger, shouldn't I? If you're new on the ascension process, and you're just kind of growing, um, and you're ready though to take the things to the next level, and you want to be with the all the rest of the black sheep, here we are. So, shameless plug. It's a brand new program. We're kicking it off, and feel free to join us there. I'm going to take this down. I will put the this in the chat. Okay, so here we go. And copy, and in the chat, paste. All right, let me stop this. And we have Sebastian. How are you, beloved? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah. So as you saw my messages in the chat and stuff, those were really much of the guilt and shame I carried. And also I carried a guilt and shame that now that going away for college, that also that due to the fact of me constantly being there, they could have always exploited, not exploit, used me.
Yeah.
And while in college, I felt, I still feel, yeah, I'm still in, I feel guilt. I feel guilt for leaving. I feel guilt for leaving.
And you're so young. You're 21, right?
Hmm.
Well, let's breathe through this, because I'm sure that there's a couple people, right, that more than one person is going to feel this way. So let's just take a deep breath in together. Breathe in through your nose. Hold, 2, 3, out. One more deep breath in, out. So I'm just going to speak to your heart right now. I want you to find younger Sebastian, 14-year-old Sebastian, and he has all this responsibility on him. And I want you to allow 14-year-old Sebastian to kind of look at his parents and understand in this moment they they needed him, and they didn't mean to make him feel like the parent.
Did they really though? Did they really need me? Did they really? Because last time I checked, okay,
You are not cooperating, but go ahead.
it, it's the
Let's
Virgo.
get let's get it. Okay.
It's the
Last time you
Virgo.
checked.
Last time I checked, Spanish was practically the second official language of this country. Okay? They did not need me. Okay? They did not need me in any case. My mother was born in Brazil. My father was born in Cuba. My mother speaks Spanish fluently. Her parents were from Cuba. My father's parents live in, they live in America, obviously, but they're both they both can speak Spanish fluently. Yes, their English is limited, but clearly, you could get mortgage forms in Spanish. You could get a lot of these documents in Spanish. And this was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, Spanish became practically the second official language of this country under the Bush administration, which is what, a decade or two, actually 2 decades ago. Did they really need me, Lisa?
I'm just telling you what I feel from their perception. From their perspective, they needed you.
And they had
Now,
their older one out here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
now, Sebastian, I didn't say that it was right. I said that was their perspective.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry. It's the full moon. It's the
It is, and I remember you're a Virgo, so I gotta tread lightly here because you own 5,000 right now.
exactly, exactly.
But this is actually good because there is so much resentment here. That's the first thing you got to let go of.
I don't have resentment. I
Are
really
you
don't.
serious right now?
I am 100% serious. I don't feel
Okay, how would
resentment.
you describe it? Tell me, please. We're going to use your adjective for what this emotion is. What is this emotion?
This emotion is how should I say it? Oh my god. Okay. The lack of recognition. Yes, when I moved into college for the first time, they did cry. They did realize like, "Oh my god. Yeah, he, like he was just more than a child to us. Like this is the kid who did a lot of things for us." Yes,
Hmm.
I give him that. But I still can't accept the fact that I was literally robbed of my childhood. When I'm telling you, I was literally the child who knew how to get a car loan, how to get a mortgage, how to get life insurance. Well, actually, that's weird because I had life insurance. I still do have life insurance from my 14 because obviously they did not know how to, navigate all those type of stuff. So everything just fell on me. But actually, no. Life insurance, they knew how to navigate that because the agent spoke Spanish. The
Okay.
agent spoke Spanish. The agent spoke Spanish. She was this beautiful woman. She was from Haiti though, but she knew Spanish, so it was all good.
Okay. So you feel stolen from.
I feel stolen from. I feel stolen from. Until
Okay.
this day,
Robbed.
that set those 7 years. There's a lot of things I could have done throughout those 7 years
Yep.
of my life. Those
Yep.
7 years, there's a lot that I could have done.
Yep. You have to forgive them.
Oh, I forgave them. I
No, you
forgave
ain't.
them. Yes, I have,
No,
Lisa.
you
I have
ain't.
forgiven. I have
No.
forgiven them.
No.
I've forgiven them.
No.
Deep down in my heart, I know I've forgiven them.
Y'all see, this is why I don't do too many one-on-ones anymore, right? You see this right here.
I've
Okay.
forgiven them. The
So
thing
I will
is,
go
I just
ahead.
want to move on without them.
So
So
what's
that's the
keeping you
thing.
from doing that?
Guilt.
Mm. So we don't feel guilty about things unless, okay, let me come at this from the other angle. Part of shadow work is forgiving the other person, and the big part of shadow work is forgiving yourself. Now, you might say, what the heck do I have to forgive myself for? Because your eternal self knew that 14-year-old Sebastian should not be knowing all these things and filling all these things out and felt robbed even back at 14. You might not have been able to verbalize it. You may not have been able to identify it. Maybe you were, but 21-year-old Sebastian is like, y'all robbed me. Like them could have been my high school years, should have been footloose and fancy free. And now
Mm.
I got away. And now I still feel this pull, but let's be honest, you are away. So really the person that you need to forgive is yourself.
But listen, it's not that okay. I've acknowledged what has happened to me, but now when I'm telling you I feel guilt, I feel so bad that if I don't hear from them one day, I practically feel like I'm dead. I practically feel I'm going to die. That's how much it's bad. So when I'm telling you I really do need to like completely that's why I've thought of this. I know it could sound dangerous. It's not gonna get your channel straight, Lisa. I thought I should just disappear for a year.
Well, the running away from the thing is not the answer. You have to learn to put the
No,
boundaries
not
up.
not running away, an exploration year. That's what
That's
I was
running
thinking.
away. Disappearing for a year is literally running away.
To explore?
It's running away. You can go explore, but if you're planning on not being in contact, you're running away. You're not facing the issue. You're not putting up the boundaries.
The issue is that they depend on me too much. They depend
You're
on me
not
too
putting up the
much. The
boundaries.
thing is, you can't put boundaries
Yes, you can.
in a type of culture where clearly says that
Do
uh,
you know who you're talking
in
to?
my culture you just can't put boundaries. You
Do
just
you
can't.
know who you're talking to? Our cultures ain't that different.
I know they're not, but you
Okay,
just can't
so
put
yes, you can
boundaries.
put up boundaries.
Oh, well, okay.
The boundaries come from within, but you're too busy telling me what you ain't done.
I've done a lot. I've tried a lot, and I feel also this is where I'm going to kind of agree with you. I do kind of feel resentment, but the main resentment I feel bad about is the fact that they had a whole nother child
Mhm,
who was older who could have
mhm,
done everything,
mhm.
but instead they picked the youngest one to do all the crap. This is someone who's 10 years older than me, Lisa. 10 years. 10 years.
So
10
that
years.
means you
So
have
when I
10 years of you not, you have more than 10 years of you really not knowing what the heck went on. It sounds to me like there's also a tad bit of resentment of the fact that the one that's 10 years older than you managed to put up a boundary.
Oh no, the one that's 10 years older than me did not manage to pull up a boundary. The thing is, it's like he's stunted. He's stunted as a child in an adult man's body. This is someone who's 31 now, cannot full living with them, cannot manage to be in a stable relationship, cannot do anything. All
So
he
what
is,
you're doing right now is putting that your older sibling down
no,
the
I'm not putting
same
him
way.
down. I'm
Yes,
putting
you
him in the stage
are.
that they could
You
have
are
picked him up.
putting
They could have
him.
picked him. They could have took
Listen to
him.
what you said about him.
They could
Well,
have took
you're doing the same thing that you're doing. You're putting him in that place still.
I'm putting him in the place that, this person caused me to my childhood to be robbed. And this person did bad things to me and they
But you ain't
co-signed
got
it.
no
And
resentment,
they
man. You done
co-signed
forgave every motherfucker.
they
You
co-
ain't forgave no damn body.
they
Stop playing.
they
Stop lying to yourself.
they
Stop
co-signed the
lying.
A-ing that he's done to me. That's the thing.
Stop the cap. This is what I'm going to say to you. This is good, Shiny, because you go. So I felt guilty for leaving college in my second year after starting college classes while still in high school on a talent development program. Tuition was paid in full
Oh,
because both parents worked at university. Sometimes we feel guilty about leaving. Sometimes we feel guilty about going. Sometimes we just feel guilty because the position that we are in the family as the caretaker, nobody wants the caretaker to leave because the caretaker is the caretaker. And the caretaker themselves feels guilty because that's what we have been created to feel. We've been programmed to feel guilty if we don't do for the others in the family. Being the caretaker, I'm fully aware of this. There are still some areas where I'm still somewhat the caretaker, but now I pick and choose when I decide to be the caretaker. That being said, a lot of us have had our childhoods ripped away from us. A lot. Perhaps the first thing, because I can't go much deeper with you right now. One of the first things I will say for you to do is I want you to think of something that 15, 14-year-old you wanted to do, and I want you to go do it. As silly as that sounds, let me tell you something. I literally, when I first started this work, I went and bought Barbie dolls. Why? Because my dad threw all of them away, and I, god dang it, didn't want him to throw them away at 13 years old.
I did that already.
Okay, Sebastian, what would you like for me to do?
I did that. The thing is, I want to tell you what it was. I wanted a PlayStation.
Hmm.
I grew up around them, but they never allowed me to have one of them.
Hmm.
So when I did turn 21, I did purchase one. So I purchased the new one, the
Good.
5. Um, but I feel as if it outgrew me. I mean, I outgrew it because now it's just sitting there.
So what's the next thing you want to do? And the next thing you wanted to do? And the next thing. This does not get
Well,
fixed
that's
with
the
one
thing.
PlayStation
Due to the
5
fact of my
purchase.
childhood being so robbed, I practically have no memories of what I wanted to do at 14.
Go look and see what was popular during those years of your high school years. There's a thing called Google. Look and see what was popular. Listen to the music at the time. Do this, do that, do whatever. What looked like fun? What were the fads? Find out. It doesn't get cured overnight.
I
But
agree.
what
It
I'm
does
going to
not get
tell
cured
you is
overnight.
that, but also, my dear, I can't help you.
I know
So,
you get. I could only help myself.
no, that's not why. I can't help you because right now you're being an argumentative teenager.
Why'd you have to go so deep? Oh my God.
Actually, I'm glad you're being an argumentative teenager, but being that teenager, you're going to have to give yourself permission to release all of this, to release it, and to allow yourself to elevate past it. And I can tell you from personal experience, the minute I thought at first I had forgiven all of it, something else popped up. I was like, oh crap. There's more. Here's more until I had the breakdown where I finally got to the root. And sometimes things pop up, but this is a layer upon layer upon layer of you letting go of the resentment of how they treated your older sibling and how they didn't ever made your older sibling have responsibility and seemingly has continued to let them skate back by. You gotta let that go because they're not you, you're not them. They were never gonna be you. You incarnated with a level of maturity and wisdom that your older sibling did not. The moment you recognize that you actually chose to have this life and then say, okay, now what was I supposed to be learning? Because in past lives, you've been the parent, which is why you kind of were the parent this go around.
Oh, really? That's why?
Past lives, you've been the parent.
I wonder if I will be a good parent when I have kids.
We're going to focus back on you right now.
I feel like they'll make me a better person if I do have kids.
We're going to focus back on you because you need to deal with this before you have children. Okay. Okay. So all of these things, you got to begin to look at this and say, "Ooh, what was I supposed to learn? Why did I choose this life this way?" And when I talk about forgiveness of them and forgiveness of self, there's multiple layers to this. Forgiving them for the program and forgiving them for the robbery, forgiving them of the favoritism or perceived favoritism or real favoritism. You have to you yourself are making yourself feel guilty for being away from them. It's you have the choice now to not feel guilty about this. and to get into this space of neutrality. But
I do
do not,
sometimes. It's just that in the back of my head, it's just like it hits. Like, damn. But we don't live in the same state anymore, so.
Sebastian, yep, defensive, stuck at 14.
But whose fault is it that I'm stuck at 14? It's not my fault.
Oh, wow. Okay. But we don't resent nothing. Boy, stop playing.
It's it's not my fault. It's not mine. It's not mine.
If you didn't feel like it was your fault, then you would not feel guilty about walking away.
No. That
Yes.
no, no.
Yes.
It's not my fault. It's
We
not.
chose the life that we have.
How? Where? When was this
Before you got here, I wasn't
choice
there when you made the
done?
contract and said this is what you're gonna live through. That was
I,
on you.
I
Now you gotta decide. Now, this is what I'm saying though. This is a really deep thing to recognize. Good, bad, and indifferent, we're here to have an experience.
that is true. Agree.
Good, bad, and indifferent, we're here to learn certain lessons and and experience certain things and grow.
That's true.
At 14 years old, your eternal self knew this was not right. And yet at 14, you could do nothing about it. This is the level of things we have to forgive as we get older. These are the things that we have to forgive ourselves for, because no matter what, we carry the guilt. I was carrying the guilt around of my father being abusive. I had nothing to do with that. I
No, of
didn't
course you
choose
didn't.
that. But you carry the guilt around because you're involved in the whole situation. Now, this shadow work that I'm talking about, this level of shadow work, this is not for the faint of heart. This is when you really get to that deep level of allowing this other person's consciousness to kind of like, you take all of this stuff and hand it back to them, like I'm good, you know, and free them to deal with their own stuff. You deal with your. I'm saying this on a very high level. When you get to that point, then you can look at the entire situation and have a sense of neutrality about it. I now have a neutral position on everything that happened as a child. I can now talk to my mother and respect her for the woman she is, but also understand how she got where she is, and there's certain things that's never going to change. But I just honor her for who she is. And there's certain non-negotiables. You know, there's just certain things. Mom can call me right now and be like, "Oh, your brother, blah 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 blah." I'd be like, "That's your son. I ain't got nothing to do with that." Now, a few years ago, I would have called up my brother. Right, I'd have just stepped right back into that matriarchal role. Why you? What you doing to our mother? Like, seriously, stop it. Da, 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 right? You know, not anymore. That's you birthed that one. I got three. You birthed that one. That one ain't one of mine. But I can do that now in a respectful manner and set up boundaries. You know, we laugh about it because I'll tell her, wait, who laid on the table? Wait, what? You know, and we'll laugh. And then she'll be like, okay, I know. Yeah. But you have to get to a point where you can approach it from neutrality. And that's how when you can tell the story without the emotional tie, the resentment and the anger and the frustration and the feeling of robbery and thievery, that's when you've gotten past that point.
Okay.
And it's going to take
Okay.
time.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. I see completely where you're coming from, and I know you're probably thinking I'm going to disagree with you, but
Disappoint me? Did you say that?
no, I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh,
I
I
think
thought you
you're
said
probably
disappoint. I'm like, child, go ahead.
you're probably thinking that by the tone of my voice right now, I'm going to disagree with you, but I completely see where you're coming from. But the thing is, as I'm saying, Lisa, it's not, the math is not mathing correctly at all. I do not see why I would put a 14-year-old child in the position to be knowing how to buy a house, how to finance a car, how to do taxes. How to do taxes, Lisa. How to
So
do
then you won't do
taxes.
that to your 14-year-old.
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. My 14-year-old is going to be everything
Be
that I
able to be
couldn't be.
14.
They're going to be everything I couldn't be.
Sure.
Um,
Okay. So let it go.
I will
Because
let
I
it
see
go.
I'm not going to get no further than this. This
Oh,
is as far as I'm going to get with you. And we have to take this up another day. Let it go then. You don't see why, and you're not wanting to see their story. Somebody put that in here. You have to
I
see their,
I've
understand their
acknowledged their
story.
story. I have put myself in every position. My father left. My
Okay.
grandparents, they
Okay.
came from
Okay.
Cuba years, decades
Okay.
after the revolution. On my father's side, my mother's side, they left before the revolution. So they were in Brazil chilling as if anything wasn't wrong. My parents were
Mm,
completely fine, okay? I don't understand what
mm,
trauma that they had that was so bad that they had to make their
mm,
14-year-old
mm,
son, their 14-year-old son, endure what he
mm.
had to endure.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's gonna be a problem, pimp.
Lisa, why are you coming so hard for me? I thought you were gonna be on my side tonight.
I'm only coming hard for you because I love you. Honest to Pete. Otherwise, I'd be like, okay, bye. That's gonna be a difficult one until you can have compassion and inner. Doesn't mean it makes sense. Doesn't mean that it was right. Nothing. It is compassion and understanding for how someone got where they got. You can't move forward. And you might think that they were chilling. Well, I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's just go for your with your mother. Do you think that the revolution in Brazil happened like instantaneously?
No, that's on my mother's side. Her parents left Cuba before the revolution.
That wasn't my question.
Oh,
Okay, so Cuba, that's fine. We'll go to Cuba. In either country, both your parents come from countries that there was massive upheaval and revolution. And I would assume if they were able to escape early, and if this is an incorrect assumption, please let me know. But typically, those people that were able to escape early before the revolution probably came from some level of stature within that country. Yes or no?
well, my mother's family weren't that. Okay, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. My mother's family weren't low. I won't say that. They were pretty well. They had properties. They had they had a lot of cattle. They
It's
had a lot of these
stature.
things. They had a lot. They had a
Okay,
lot.
that's your mom. Dad, I would assume the same thing. Only reason I can say make those assumptions is because just knowing history. So what you know what that means that says to me. Oh, I'm gonna go back to my original question. Do you think a revolution in a country happens immediately? Like like one day it's cool and
No,
the next day it's a
no,
revolution.
because that's how
Okay.
my no. Mm-mm.
Okay,
It
cool.
doesn't happen like that.
Okay, cool. So how do you know if either of your parents' families were just chilling? Because if they were just chilling, they would not have packed up and moved to an entirely different country they knew nothing about. Just because they didn't end up stuck there or having to run from their lives at the moment when things really went bad doesn't mean things weren't going bad, doesn't mean they didn't have to make a very strong, hard decision to leave their country of birth, of origin, where their families had been, the ancestry, and to walk away from that, thank God, before it all went to hell in a handbasket.
Okay, Lisa, Lisa, I love you, Lisa. I really do. But
But 14
they,
year old Sebastian can't hear me.
but it's not as if they were in such bad conditions when they left. They had resources, they had money. Well,
So
Fidel's dead
you would
now.
have rather they you would
Fidel's dead. Let me just say, call a spade a spade. They had accounts, offshore accounts. Okay, they had offshore accounts. They were pretty much well. They were pretty much well. They were pretty well. Both sides.
Sebastian,
Both
you're not hearing me. You
sides.
can't hear me. Khalid, what are you talking about? What is this person talking about? Guys, is this Khalid Muhammad a troll? Oh my God. I
I.
should have known I was going to get one tonight. I thought we were going to escape tonight without the trolls, but
It's
clearly
okay. It's okay.
not.
And I'm guessing
Listen,
he's probably Muslim. Khalid. This is. You shouldn't be. Mm, you're not Allah. You should be.
Melinda, can you send him to the Red Sea, to the Block Nation? I don't have time. Anyway, babe, I'm not going to get through to 14-year-old you tonight. So
It's a
no
full
matter what
moon.
I
It's a
say,
full moon, and it's my full moon. And
both
I
gonna get through
feel,
Virgo.
yes.
And Husenheimer.
And I'm right. And I know I'm
No,
right.
you're not.
I,
Nope, you're not
I
right.
am right. I
You're
am right. That's
not
what I'm
right.
saying. I am
You're
right.
not
I am 100% right.
right. You know why you're not right? Because you're being short sighted. You are actually, what you're saying to me is, well, listen, they was I. They got out
They
well before
was.
everything.
They
They got
was.
nope, nope. They got out before everything happened, like well before. You are not taken into account at all. At
They,
all. You're not 14-year-old Sebastian, be quiet. You ain't taken into account at all what it must have been like. I don't care how much money you have to leave your country of origin and whatever family members or friends or life behind and come to a Eurocentric country. I
well,
want you to sit with that. I want you to actually sit with, let's say things continue to go way far left around here. Because, a lot of people, if you're on TikTok and stuff, they'll be like, you got
they
your
are.
passport, you got your go bag, you might need to get the heck up out of Dodge, right? And I ain't saying one way or the other. I'm just saying I want you to put yourself in a position
I am
where
putting myself in that
let's say
position.
1 year from now, this country is going to erupt in civil war. Let's
I,
say you knew that for sure.
if I knew that for sure, I wouldn't let my children be adults at the age of 14. And
You are
now
so stuck on
at
that. You are
21,
so
they
you're
are
so
practically, their mind is full. Their mind is full and it can't even contain even more things. It's completely full. And it's not like you could delete anything. It's just that your mind is just full. Like you can't, due to it being full, every little thought just comes into it. You know, the thought of, oh my God, I did this. Like everything just comes into your mind because it's completely full now. Because you're
mm,
practically a 14-year-old, but you know what? The mind and soul of an 89-year-old. That's practically what it is. It's just the body of a
and
21.
you always had that. You're not going to own that though.
I don't
You
think I always.
always had that. You have always had that. You came here with that wisdom. It was awakened. Maybe you feel like it's too early, but how about flipping it around for a second and realizing that you're a 21-year-old young man that is better equipped than most 40 some odd year old men that are out here howling about they want a traditional woman to cook and clean them, had their babies, that you are more prepared than they are to actually maintain and direct a family.
Yes, that's the good parts of it. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna give you that. You're right. You're right. That's
I never signed a mortgage paper until I was 51 years old. That's when I bought my first house. I had no idea what I was doing. I wished I had known.
uh,
Now,
uh,
did I? Yes. Don't you can't tell me what I wish my experience was, right? Now, would I want to do it at 14? Probably not. But I'm going to tell you, there's probably not one person in this chat right now who, in some form or fashion, did not have their teenage years stolen from them.
I agree with you. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you know who else agrees with what I'm seeing? My grandparents. My grandparents have said how I've been the tormented one. They have said that. They have said that. They have said they raised their children to not have to do certain things, but they had me do them, which is the problem. That's the problem.
I didn't say that what you went through was right. That's not what I said. But in order for you to be able to let it go, we got to bring it to at least neutral. And to bring it to neutral, you're really going to have to let go of a lot of this anger that you have.
I don't have anger about what happened. I have anger that what could have happened of
Same
2016,
difference,
14.
just the other side of the coin. It's opposite side of the same coin. I
Ah,
didn't say what type of anger either. You're assigning you're assigning categories to things that I'm not assigning a cat. I just said anger. Did I specify what type?
you did
No,
not specify. You're right.
because it doesn't matter what you're angry at. That anger is keeping you in a low vibrational state. That anger actually keeps you in a state of guilt. That
But
anger actually keeps you bound.
I feel that anger has actually made me feel better as a person.
Okay.
The only thing I'm trying to get rid of is the guilt that I have. But it
That
is not.
anger is keeping you guilty.
No,
It
no, it's
all
not the
see.
anger. It's not
Okay.
the anger.
Okay,
It's
darling.
the
All right.
anger. Because you know what?
Okay.
This anger,
Okay.
those tears at night from my teenage years when I would be by my
Mhm.
pillow, those
Mhm.
tears, I feel as if they've helped me evolved as a person
Mhm.
and look at children differently. Because now,
Mhm.
growing up, I looked at children as practically what I was. Practically almost, actually, let me not say this word. Let me not say what I was going to say. But practically as someone as not financial advisors and
But
little.
as children and teenagers, absolutely.
No, no, they're not supposed to be your financial advisors
I I I'm not disagreeing with you at
or
all.
your little investments. Because I do recall my parents telling me one day when I was a child, "Oh, you owe me." They've said
Oh
that to
God, my
me.
parents told me that all the time. My dad did say that all the time.
Oh,
Child,
you owe
please. My
me.
daddy said that till practically damn it the day he died. Okay. And then told my kids they owed him too. I'm like, how the hell you? Well, I had you. That don't go like that. Anyway, he trying to
But
double and triple dip.
I'm
Uh,
saying this.
but
I personally will never, ever continue. Well, it's not a cycle because it never happened to them. I will never make this become a cycle. I will never make that
okay.
happen. My children will
Okay.
never have to worry about how to sign a mortgage at the age of 14, how to take out a home loan at the age of 14, how to calculate how much money we are going to have to give to the bank so we could get the closing done and stuff. No, that's not going to happen. My children, I want them to be happy. If I have daughters, I want them to be princesses. If I have sons, I want them to be very hardworking. I don't see myself ever putting someone in such circumstance. And if I have a friend or anyone who's parenting their child the way I was parented, I will slap them. Oh,
Okay, that's great.
I will slap them.
And honestly, that's how it should be. We should parent differently, take from our childhood and our teenage years what we want, and take put the rest over here. Be like, that could have been done better, and this is what we're doing. Cool. That's awesome. And yes, everything you've been through, every tear you shed, everything, every emotion you have felt has brought you to this point today and made you the person that you are today and will shape the parent that you will be in the future. I'm not denying any of that.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. You're kind of right because I kind of don't have any regrets. A little bit. I kind of don't have regrets, but I feel as if I missed out on a lot.
So did I.
I missed out on a lot.
So did
And
I.
I feel as if now it would just be immature to make up for them. Like some of them would be very immature to make up for. Like now, the PS5 is literally just down here, buried in dust, and people are literally crying for one, killing and oh,
So sell it.
unaliving.
So sell it.
That's too much word.
Then don't complain about it.
It's gonna stay. It's gonna just
You
stay.
can't complain about something you're not willing to change.
You know what? I never. You never know. Maybe if I do travel to Cuba, I'll probably give some kid it because the last time they probably seen a console was in the movies that they buy at the black market. Oh,
Maybe. But this is the thing. You're now deciding that it would be just too childish or too whatever to still do some things. Let me tell you something. This is about having fun and allowing yourself to have fun. Really, because that's what teenagers in high school do, right? Or at
not
least
me.
that's what we're told. See, you didn't even need to put that in there. You didn't even say that. But 14-year-old you can't help it. So I'm going to let 14-year-old continue. At any rate,
The
this is
shade.
about having fun. So let yourself have some fun once in a while, Sebastian.
The thing is, I the definition of fun is what's difficult for me. That's the problem because the ages where we're supposed to have fun and we're supposed to define fun were robbed, Lisa. So
Sebastian,
I don't know
Sebastian,
what fun
well, I'm not going
is.
around this circle with you all night.
The
You're
thing is,
not
I
trying
have
to
to
hear me
make
yet.
sure.
So
I have
what
to
I'm
make.
gonna let you do is I'm gonna let you marinate on this because sometimes I have to let you marinate and then you come on back. So I'm gonna let you marinate on this, and you'll hit me up in the DM or whatever. I think you got my phone number. We'll chat, but I'm gonna let this sit with you for a second because right now you ain't hearing me. But I'm
I'm hearing
speaking
you one
directly.
hundred
But
percent.
I'm speaking to your heart. So I'm speaking to your higher self. So I know that when the mind shut down, your higher self will be able to be like, okay, you know what, that old gal was right about this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? So you need to let it marinate, baby.
But how am I supposed to find fun if the ages where I was supposed to determine what was fun were not even
Boy, you know how much.
existing?
Stop talking to me. Get off my land. You know what? Stop talking to me. What is wrong with you, child? What do you mean how you supposed to have fun? Go have some damn fun. You 21. Go do something that's not completely responsible and go have some goddamn fun. You know what? I'll go. You know what I did tonight before I got on this live? Why I was late? Because I took my behind and went and got myself a massage with some reflexology on them feet, baby.
Oh,
Yes, I did for the full moon.
I would love
I
to do
sure did. I pampered myself. Sometimes I go out. Sometimes I take the grandkids and out. Now I know you ain't got no grandkid, but sometimes
that.
I
Oh
go
no.
to the water park and the amusement park. So you got nieces, nephews, something, anything, cousins, somebody. Go. You know what? Go take y'all grown ass to the amusement park or to the water park your damn self.
Did that
Like
already.
If you tell me one more thing that you done already, I'm gonna be on the next flight to you, slap you upside your head, and then I'm flying back.
I'm sorry. It's just that I feel robbed, and I want an apology. I want an apology.
Okay, well, that ain't happening. So I don't know what to tell you.
I know
I
it's not
mean,
gonna
you can
happen.
get the apology, but you're not even listening to me to how to get the apology. So, and I'm not going into it now because I've been on here an hour and 30 some odd minutes. We not fixing to go there. You're not ready to listen to that because you're not ready. You say you want an apology, but you're not willing to let go of the anger. Right now, it has defined you,
I
and you're
have
not sure
anger.
what you're going to be without it, because then you have to let go of the guilt. If you let go of the anger, you're going to have to let go of the guilt. If you let go of the guilt, then who is Sebastian if he is not his parents and family savior? Now that's the real tea. I'm gonna let you
Oh,
marinate on that one because you ain't ready for who you supposed to be. You think you are. You are not ready to let go of the identity. Because if you were ready to let go of the identity, you would not feel guilty about being gone. And Adrian got you beat. At 9, I was clipping coupons, balancing the bank account. In the words of Maya Young, you're at age to anger. Mm, just don't be stupid.
well,
And on that note, nah, ain't no well. You gonna marinate.
I see where you're coming from now. I will acknowledge what you're saying.
Hmm.
There is l- little truths in what you said.
I don't expect for you to even admit to it right now. I don't even expect for you to admit to it in public. I'm gonna let you tell me I was right in private, and I won't even out you. How about that?
I'm just saying. As I
Mhm.
said, it's just wrong. It's wrong, and
Nobody's saying it was right, Sebastian.
and I said I deserve an apology. Those 7 years are never gonna come back, and 7 years
Baby, let me
are,
tell you
are a very
something.
long
If I
period.
waited on a damn apology from every mother trucker that did me dirty, I'd still be waiting. Do you
Well,
understand what I'm saying to
these are
you?
just two people, and actually three, because the siblings involved too. Three people.
Sebastian, get some sleep,
I
baby.
will be getting some sleep. It is actually 12 something on the East Coast.
Hmm. Go on and get you some rest. Cause you looking for a lot. You want to talk about a culture. You want an apology? That's so cute. Uh, oh boy, Sebastian, we're gonna talk later. Cause
We
baby,
gonna
you're not gonna get the apology in the 3D. The apology is gonna this is the deep shadow work we do, right? You go into the consciousness and you get this apology in the higher realms, in the meditative space, in the construct. You're not gonna get that
Well,
apology
I think
here.
I've gotten that apology already. I've gotten that apology. I
Of
need the
course you
apology
have, dear.
from the actual beings that
That's
are in
not gonna
front.
happen.
Well, then, if there's no apology, well, then there may be no relationship.
You're allowed to stomp off and do that if you want to.
Actually, that's one of the biggest questions I had for you. Am I allowed to cut people out that I just don't want to talk to anymore and don't want to F with anymore?
You're allowed to do that.
How will that affect you spiritually?
It depends on if you're doing it out of anger or not.
Well, I'm not doing it out of anger.
Yeah, you are. You're angry you were robbed.
I'm doing it out of
Preservation, self-preservation. Is that what you're
yeah,
doing?
Yeah.
But if you knew how to put up proper boundaries, you wouldn't need to do that.
Well, that's the thing. There is no boundaries within my
If you
culture.
knew how to put proper boundaries up, you wouldn't have to do that. There's always boundaries. There's always the ability to do that. And sometimes the proper boundary ends up being that you end up kind of naturally not speaking to one another as much as you used to. I have family members right now I don't talk to hardly at all. Am I angry with them? No. But I had to energetically cut myself off.
I'm not angry at them. I'm not. I'm
Okay.
truly not angry.
I'm not doing this with you.
I'm not
Yeah.
angry at them. All
I'm
I'm
with you,
saying
Shiny.
is,
Shiny has this right. You are attached. You're too attached to your story right now.
well, when
That's
it's
why I'm
7
speaking to your
years,
higher self. So speaking to your higher self. Hey, Red Violet. Hey, baby.
we'll chat when the full moon is out of whatever it is now, when it's out of orbit or whatever the moon
And oh,
does.
here, Christina. An apology is just a public acknowledgement that your feelings are acceptable. That's my girl right there. You don't need permission to feel how you feel. And when you realize you don't need permission to feel how you feel, and when you realize that the boundary is really within and not necessarily without, but because you set the boundary up within, it happens to manifest without. When you're ready to be you and not be 14-year-old you, when you're ready to forgive them, truly forgive them, hand them back their ish, and then you and forgive yourself, then it's easy. It's a lot easier because then you step into who you are as adult Sebastian. Because 14-year-old Sebastian still does not trust that adult Sebastian is going to protect 14-year-old Sebastian because adult Sebastian still feels guilty about not doing everything for the family. 14-year-old Sebastian has to feel free enough to allow you to grow up and into who you are meant to be in every area of your life, not just the financial, being able to take care of all the financial, big financial situations. He got his essence energy. I haven't seen you in so long. Diva Glam. Oh, here we go. It took Diva 40 years to get over it all. You have the ability at a very young age to do what it took a lot of us many, many years to do. You really do. So you marinate on that. I'm gonna let that sit in your higher self and
I
your
will be
higher red.
marinating on that. I'll be marinating on that, but I'm gonna just tell you this. I'll marinate on it, and I don't see myself hanging around them anymore.
That's fine.
And I do see myself doing that year of exploration. I already have
It's
the,
fine to
I already
do the
have the,
year of
I already have the
exploration.
budget planned and everything for it.
Okay, go do it then.
Oh no, I can't do it now. The semester's not over. um, yeah,
Go do it. Nobody's stopping you. You don't have any kids.
that's
You don't
true.
have. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't like
But the thing
married,
is, my
partnered
issue
up,
is they
screwed up.
waited 10 years to bring out a practical servant. That's the issue.
You holding on to something that don't make no sense to me to hold the hell on to. Why is you holding on to that? It's only hurting you. It's not hurting them.
That's true. You know what? I'm gonna go marinate on it. It's
You
close.
gonna marinate because now
It's
you
close.
making less sense than when you started. I was with you. Where is you still? What is wrong with you? Man, the issue is they blah blah. Hey boy, if you don't stop talking to me about that mess and go ahead on and go on your year exploration,
I'll go marinate on it.
get that, get on, go on, do what you got to do. Like you have the means, you have the method. You could, like, are you serious right now?
How long is this full moon gonna be in?
This full moon is the full moon cycle is a full on 2 weeks. Today was the strongest day. The cycle itself is 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks to get it together.
Why do I have to get it together? It's my season.
This ain't your season. This is still Pisces season. And then it'll be Aries season. This ain't your season. This just the moon.
Okay, but yeah, the moon is in my area.
It ain't just for you. This
I
ain't
don't.
your season. You better get out of here. Get it together because we're about to start a 20. Did you hear what I said at the beginning? A 20-year cycle. So unless you want to carry this BS with you for the next 20 years, let's start getting
I
it
know.
together.
The thing is, I'm going to erase that BS, and I'm just going to cut everyone out who's part of that
That
BS.
ain't the way to get it together. But Virgo, I'm gonna let you go because you can't. I'm tired now. You can't. That part of us start earlier. And yeah, it's all for prosperous reasons. Absolutely. Shiny said, marinate, don't stew. Everything is teaching us lessons. Absolutely. And I know what Christina has been through. Hell and bath water. You do have to do you. But what you gotta do, Melinda said, why you windmilling? Um, but what this is what you do need to do you. I'm just imploring you to do you as a healed you and not do what the rest of us did because we didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? And we went through holy hell to get where we're at now.
Okay, I see where you guys are coming from. I see where you guys are coming from, and I'm just gonna go marinate on it. It is 12 something on the East Coast. 12, almost 12:30. Just a couple more minutes, and I'm gonna go sleep on it.
That's right. Marinate, let your higher self talk to you, child. Because that's who's hearing me, and we'll chat about it.
Okay, have a good night.
You too. All right, y'all. Well, ooh, child, I'm finna get out of here. Ooh. But you know what? I applaud you, Sebastian, for being willing to be open, willing to be transparent, willing to come up and talk about it. And I wouldn't be so hard if I didn't really care about you. And I know you could take it. But I'm actually so happy for you that at 21 you can begin to work through this. It took a lot of us a lot longer. And then when you get to my age, oh my God, you're going to be amazing. You already are. All right, gang, I'm going to get on out of here. I'm out here. Out here. Remember, we're starting our new community, Initiate Mastermind. Go to createfrommyheart.com. Hopefully that's working. It's $97 a month, $997 a year. You're going to get a lot of teaching, some community, more resources. It can be the beginning stage of where you can be at, as you're growing to be able to work with us in some of the other programs or just to be in a community of like-minded people. So createfrommyheart.com. I believe that's the right. Where is it? Oh, wait. Yep, createfrommyheart.com. All right, gang, I'm going to get on out of here. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys so very much. We'll see you guys very, 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 very soon. Do not forget, members and everyone, we will be having Cocktails and cards on Saturday night again. I'll try to do that every other Saturday night. Cocktails and cards will be this Saturday night. I'll start putting that up. Members and those members who didn't get readings last time will go first. And then other members, and then super chats. So, and then, if I'm still up and haven't cocktailed too much, everybody else. All right, guys, we're going to see you guys soon. Bye.